Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another presentation for the Boostly Summit. I hope the summit has been worth it for you. I've loved it so far, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of the week. Thank you also for tuning into this presentation. It might be a little bit different, as I'd like to show the journey we've been running to become a more sustainable business and family home. My name is Harrow, and together with Lucy, my wife, we run the Hive at 52. After working in hospitality since 1993 in roles varying from being a chef, receptionist in a 900-bedroom hotel, operations manager in variety hotels, and ending my corporate hotel career as a revenue and sales manager, the Hive at 52 was born. As my experience in hotels, more of an operational role, Lucy also has been working in hotels for 30 plus years, starting off in the head offices of the old Forte Hotel Group, working with Meridian, and then moving into hotels, and she currently is a financial controller in a local hotel. Now, I can hear you think, what has a cigarette package got to do with sustainability? Not a lot really, but ask yourself the question, is a horrible picture like on the cigarette package enough to changing people's habits or mindsets? In our case, changing the mindsets for people to become more sustainable, to think about our planet. Maybe, do packages like this stop people smoking? Did it really work to change people's minds or ways of working to stop smoking? Personally, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe some people thought and stopped smoking, but personally, I think it was the complete smoking ban in the UK in 2007, where you weren't allowed to smoke in pubs and clubs and restaurants. So my thought really is, like, would it help to have horrible pictures on plastic packaging, like lots of fish mixed up with a lot of plastic in oceans? Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it has an impact. Maybe some people will start to think about it. But I think it's a bit of a mixture, showing what we do to the earth, how we're ruining it. And also, we need to look at the laws and the rules implemented by our governments. So I think it's a bit of a mixture, but I think the government has a lot to do in trying to get us to think about our environment. So our vision, when we moved up into this house, our mindset had changed just prior to that. Our children born, our two daughters were born. And it really made us think about what we were doing to our planet. We had concerns. It was quite scary what we heard and read about. So we wanted to make sure that we were doing something to make our planet better, to rectify what we were doing with our planet. So we really wanted to start looking after it, do our little bit to improve it. For the sake of my children, our children, and for the sake of maybe their children, to make better choices in regards to our sustainability. So over the years, we have made some steps. We had some major steps. We've made some small steps, and we still have things to change. We need to change, and we hope that we as a race we can do that together with the help of our governments worldwide. So when we started the business, you look at your business, you look at your market, and you do a SWOT analysis. Now, we didn't do that for our journey to become sustainable, but we did do it for our business. So fairly recently, I actually looked at the SWOT analysis for our sustainability journey. So, like looking at the strengths, well, we already had the commitment to it. There was an existing commitment to our sustainability journey, which made it a bit easier to start the process. With the brand, when we started our sustainability journey really before we had the Hive 52, but the Hive 52 made us even more eager Calling something the Hive at 52. A lot of people ask us if we keep bees because of the name. Our logo is a bee and a daisy. And again, people ask us about that. So the environment, linking in with bees, is very important to us, and it actually links the brand with our sustainability journey. What do we offer? Are we offering sustainable service? How do we differentiate us from the competitors? We are working really hard on it. We're talking about it a lot, and we're trying to help the environment by what we do in the bed and breakfast. We're the dedicated team, but we're also trying to be having our guests part of that team. We're explaining what we're doing. They're reading on our website what we're doing. We have signs up in the bedrooms a little bit about what we're doing. So hopefully, us as a B&B, as a business, we can do that together with our guests and be a team. So what do we do? How do we doing it? What practices to reduce our waste or optimize what we, our resources, and how we can do that by, especially with cost savings, and then obviously the efficiency of our operation. Looking at the weaknesses, we're not experts. We read up about it. We use our friend Google. We've got the knowledge, but we're not fully knowledgeable, following online courses and things like that. But we're trying, and we're trying to learn from our mistakes, and we're learning from other things. The cost. So initially we did have a high cost when we moved. Then we sort of taken small step, and then recently we had high cost as well. So all the steps, there is a lot of steps which doesn't cost any money or is very minimal impact, investment. As a very small family business, we have a limited amount of measurement and data. It's hard, to purchase programs to do that. There's a cost involved in it, and for us there's not really a return on investment, but we're trying to look at what we're doing and measure it in our way. Now, the resistance to change is not really from our point of view. We're willing to change, but obviously some of the things we do for our sustainability might impact our guests, and that's where we need to be really careful, is because some guests still don't really feel we need to change. They just keep on going with their lives, which is fair enough. We understand that, but for us, that's sometimes where there could be a problem with our guests. The supply chain, can we get delivery of the items? What's the cost of it? Do they work? That could create challenges for us. The opportunity. We have seen an increase in demand, not a huge amount of people wanting to book more sustainable businesses. They come by train. They're not using certain things in the house. They drive an electric car. So when you then start talking to them at breakfast, they say, "Oh, we choose you because you're doing a lot of sustainability," and that's only going to increase in the years when more people are getting aware of sustainability. Cost savings for us, creating some of these, the solar panels and things like that, which I can tell about a little bit later. It was maybe a bit of cost saving, but also it's just to help our environment, to look at our energy cost. But we insulated our house, helps with the energy efficiency. We've got double glazing, helps with our energy efficiency. We're looking at waste, recycling, more recycling, less waste going to the landfill. It will help. It might not save us a lot of money, but it helps. Partnerships and collaborations. We earlier this year I actually did 2 presentations about our journey to showcase what a small business can do in changing the way they work. One was with Marketing Cheshire, which is great. There's a variety of companies there, other hotel companies and things like that, so that's good because we're in Cheshire. And the other one was for Groundworks, it's a company who run a lot of the town bits and things like that. I think they also run the Blue Coin scheme at the Tesco's in your local Tesco's. And I did a presentation for them in Southport, again to a variety of hotel and restaurant businesses. So I got me out there, got my branded t-shirt on. So I talked about the Hive at 52. So hopefully we're working on that. I don't really have spend a lot of time creating these links, but going forward, I'm really keen to do that. The incentives by governments, grants, tax breaks for businesses to adopt sustainability. I think there is not a huge amount about at the moment, but again, we will see an increase in that because it's important that businesses are changing. And then the differentiation in brand, our competitive advantage. People will choose us over a hotel where they don't do any recycling or look at the sustainability, don't bring the message out. And then the last one, the threats. Again, it's changes by the governments. Different governments have different grants or different rules and regulations, so that has a big impact on it. Now, the next one is a big one, is greenwashing accusations. We are on a sustainability journey. We're not saying that we're carbon neutral, but we're explaining what we're doing. We're trying to improve it, and to avoid being accused of greenwashing. The competition, the market competition, so it could be a benefit, but it also could be, that our competitors are actually way ahead of us. They have a bigger budget, bigger hotel, bigger group, or they're even more keen than us to change. The economic downturns, it happens everywhere. Recessions in countries, instability, reduced budget to spend money on big projects. The supply chain, can fall as well. We have natural disasters where supplies can't come into a country, or there's just a huge shortage of certain materials. We can't do anything with that or anything about that. So when did we start, really? We lived in London and West Sussex up to 2006, and in May 2006 we moved up to the northwest of England. We moved into a lovely warm and cosy home, we thought. A cosy home which was built in 1876. We thought it was a really warm house. When we viewed it 3 times, it was lovely and warm, toasty actually, too warm really. And we thought, that's nice, nice ham, at least the heating is working and things like that. And then when we moved in at the end of August. It was nice and warm, and then the winter came and we discovered that we had to have the heating on because the heat was just going out. It was cold, it was damp. So we started looking at what we could do. Took off the roof, redone the roof, re-insulated the roof, insulated all the roof spaces. Then we looked at some of the old doors, which was a real shame because they were old wooden doors, probably original or close to original, but they were just not properly insulated, and we just couldn't do anything with it. Then over the next few years, we insulated all our external walls. We're talking about 11 rooms in total, so that's the kitchen, the dining, the hallway, things like that. So we insulated with the insulation boards like you see in the picture, and we also started to replace some of our old double glazing units in the property. So then back in 2014 we started thinking about creating a bed and breakfast. We looked at a variety of options, either buying an already readily run bed and breakfast or a bigger house where we can create a B&B, and then we decided to actually create it in our own family home, and we created a small 3-bedroom bed and breakfast. It's really hard trying to be sustainable when you do building work. At the time, like we're talking, as I said, 10-12 years ago, it was really not many sustainable building materials, so we just had to go with it. But to sort of counteract the bad stuff, we looked at what we can do purchasing the items for the bed and breakfast. So of course we need to buy new materials like the beds, the linen, the towels and things like that, but we looked at all the furniture, so we reused some of our furniture. We bought second-hand or upcycled furniture from charity shops, and then just made it into what we liked in the B&B. An example is we've got a leaf table there in the pictures, and Lucy, who's very good at DIY, converted that into a desk, TV and working desk for our guest room. When we completed it all, we started when we opened. We already purchased our shampoos and body wash in bulk, so in big 5-litre containers, and then refill our little bottles in the bedrooms. We supply fresh milk daily in little bottles, so to avoid the little small plastic milk cups. Fresh coffee in the room, again to avoid plastic. The little plastic Nescafe or other brands, instant coffee sachets. And also from near the start, we offer our guests a little envelope with our website address and telephone number on that, with bee-friendly flower seeds. Just again, spread the message about the ecosystem and spreading the message about the Hive 52. So as you can see, over the years we've learned a lot, we tried a lot, we tested a lot of things, we implemented a lot of things, and we're still learning. We know that there's still changes. The products are getting better, more efficient, and things like that. So we keep on changing. So over the years, we actually kept chickens when we opened the B&B, but 2 or 3 chickens, 2 or 3 eggs a week wasn't really cutting the mustard. And then Mr. Fox came as well, so we ended up with no chickens and decided not to go with chickens anymore. We use our old towels and old linen for as racks, so part of the towels we use to clean or dry the bedrooms when we clean them, or clean the bedrooms with. We use the racks to clean out oily pans for when we cook breakfast. We're looking at ways of how we cook breakfast. We tried a variety of cleaning materials, as you see in this picture, and we changed, and now we actually use our 5-litre bottles taken to a local refill shop, where they buy their products in 50-litre barrels or 100-litre barrels, and that's where we then get our cleaning materials from. We're looking at we've replaced some of our towels, and we've sort of in the process of replacing them all with eco-knit towels. And eco-knit towels, the same quality, nice and fluffy, but they do dry a lot quicker in the tumble dryer, and actually in the guest bedroom as well. We tried to make our own washing powder, which wasn't a lot of work, but it was a lot of work. And also we sort of figured out that it wasn't cleaning as well as we were hoping for. We have built some bee hotels around for the bees. We changed some of our garden grass into patches of flower beds with bee-friendly and wildlife-friendly flowers and plants. So it just keeps on going. We keep on developing, and it will keep going because things progress. So far we've done a few big ones before we became a business. So the insulation, the roof, and things like that. New windows, or some of the new windows. We were making some small steps, looking at the cleaning materials, looking at buying food items not in plastic and things like that. And then in 2022 we actually had a bit of money, and we decided to go fairly big, looking at solar panels and air source heat pumps. We had looked at solar panels before, about 10 years ago, well, a bit longer actually, and it just wasn't, there was something not right with it when we looked at it. The return on investment, the cost and things like that didn't make sense at the time. So in 2022, in late 2022, we had the 2 air source heat pumps installed and our boiler removed, which was a big step, to go without a boiler, a gas boiler for your heating and hot water, and it all came from the air source heat pumps. So far we haven't really had any issues with it. Obviously one of the things was that it wasn't a great time to install them, because we installed them in October 2022, just about when the energy prices went absolutely through the roof, especially electricity, and electricity runs the air source heat pumps. But as I said, we haven't really had many issues with it. And then in early 2023, we had 18 solar panels installed on our roof, on two parts of our roof, which worked great. We're very happy with that. And at the same time, we actually put about 80% of our rooms in the house. We put smart valves in. The smart valves, they're sometimes a bit temperamental, but what is great for us is that, especially in the winter when guests have their heating at full, but they also have the window open, it actually tells us when the window is open, so we actually can turn the heating off. And it actually has saved us a fair bit of money. At the same time, it's also insulated our two big water tanks, and also all the pipe works in the room where the water tanks is. So it was some serious money invested. We made any money back on it? Maybe a little bit at start, but it's still, it's still in the early stages. So hopefully over the time we will see a return of our investment. So we did invest heavily in 2022, 2023. And obviously it's about trying to save some money as well with generating your own electricity. The vision was really still to try and make a better planet. But we did see some benefits installing the solar and air source, but for various reasons, this year compared to last year hasn't been as much. But as you can see in the example, so we installed the air source in October 22, and the comparisons 2022 to 2023, it says a saving of 774 kilowatt hours in electricity, and a saving of almost £400. So this is December 23 compared to 22. By the time 23 came, we had the solar panels installed. So that's where the saving came from. But then when you look at 24, a full year, January to August this year compared to August last year, we have actually used a lot more electric, and also the cost. I think the cost is actually probably could have been a lot more if we didn't have the solar panels. So I think there is a saving in there. But there is a few reasons why we probably use more electricity. Or one is we bought an electric car, a small electric car, and we're actually charging it with just off the plug. We haven't got an EV charger yet, so that increased the cost a bit, the usage of electricity. We also, over that period, we've sold about 110 rooms more. So we used more electricity, more gas, more hot water, more washing and things like that. And also this year there was a lot less sun hours, so we generated a lot less electricity this year than we did last year. So there's a few reasons why. So that's why I think we need to look at a longer period. So over the 5 years, we hope to see that we actually have saved some money, together with actually knowing that we're doing something for our planet as well. So what are our plans for the future, and what are the challenges? We will continue to monitor developments, especially with regards to energy efficiency. Probably we'll be looking at revisiting our windows, because some of the windows are 14 years old. We're hoping to install an EV charger for us and for the guests, so not two, but just one, but for guest use as well. But for the big investments at the moment, we're not looking at any big investments, but we're just looking at little improvements around the house. We're converting some of our front lawn into more beds. We also installed recently a wildlife pond, just to create wildlife. We're not putting any fish in it, but just to get more wildlife to it. And we just do things like that. We're looking at completely replacing our towels with eco-knit towels. So we all have them, but some of the old ones were still in good working order. We planted about 500-600 bulbs in our garden, and we're looking to do more, and also look around in the village and actually plant some there. But really the challenges we have is, as it says on the picture, is the government. What's happening with governments, what are the rules, what are the grants, what they're going to do. We're looking at replacing our linen, and we really want to try and test it, but some of the eco linen, it's not the greatest. It's not as comfortable, it's not as luxury as some of the linen we've had. So it's finding a really eco-friendly but very luxury or good linen, good quality linen. Obviously the challenge is reviews, guest reviews. If the guests are not very keen on what we're doing, then my reviews go down, and it has an impact on the business. So it's really trying to find a good middle way and explaining our guests what we're doing, so they know in advance that what's happening if there's something not quite right in their eyes, or not like when they go to the Ritz or something like that. I don't know. So it's just working and then making sure that what we do on sustainability is not impacting on our guest stays and our guest reviews. Obviously the other thing is the economy, what's happening there, the challenges we have there, the cost of living and things like that. So it's hard, but we really want to try to find a very good middle way of offering a very good product and a very good service, but still thinking of the environment. So thank you very much. That was my presentation. I hope it was useful or interesting to see that as a very small business, you can still make big inroads into your sustainability. And to be honest, we say it's like if everybody does a little bit, our thoughts are if everybody does a little bit, it's probably better than if you doing a lot. We all need to think about what we're doing, and we hope that you've learned something. And if you've got any questions, my details are on there. Contact me or contact me through any of the socials. Thank you very much and enjoy the summit.